I just want to thank you for sitting in with us at glammetal.com.
Glam metal.
Glammetal.com.
There's a first.
We cover it all.
It's a little busy here, as you can tell.
That's okay, no problem. You've already done 10 shows in this tour. How's it going so far?
Has it already been 10?
It's been 10. Today's the 11th.
Wow. No, actually, I've been having a great time. So it's been going well. It's a unique lineup, I think. Different, whatever genres. I mean, Typo has some of its roots in hardcore, but I don't think most of our fans are, for the most part, aware of it. But
right.
But you just go up there, you do your thing every night. I never really pay attention to who went on before or after. Just when it's our turn to do our thing. Just do it.
Cool. You guys always had some great stories touring with other bands, the Pantera stories. Any cool stories taking place in this tour so far?
The relationships are still starting to be established. Everybody's starting to feel each other out. Now it's, with 10 shows in, now it's starting to warm up a little bit. Everybody's been hanging out a little bit more at the end of the night. But I guess the only interesting thing so far is that we got a very cool velvet painting of the first Kiss record in Juarez yesterday.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, like you, I'm also a huge Kiss fan.
Yeah. Well, I found out the other night there are a lot of people on the tour that are huge Kiss fans. So
yeah. Some people are closet Kiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
That's true. Hey, Drew, how you doing?
That was true. Yeah.
Do you think that because of MySpace and YouTube sites, do you think that they're hurting you or helping you?
I think ultimately, I think they help out because there's so many people that actually utilize things like that. It's not a medium where people can illegally download your music. It's a place where it's a great vehicle for bands to help promote and stuff like that. So
right.
So I think it helps out ultimately. And it also helps establish they have some kind of they feel like they're more connected to the band than say when I was a kid, you had no connection to any band or anything. You wrote to the fan club or that was it. And the only information you got was from publications that came out once a month. Kerrang
Right.
came out twice a month, and that was if I had enough money to buy Kerrang,
Every Tuesday was magazine day.
Yeah.
So you remember the Kiss Army?
Yes, I remember the Kiss Army very well. I think I was in the Kiss Army. I'm not sure. I think I was. I think I remember getting a patch when I was a kid.
The whole package.
Yeah, for $5.
Okay, so with YouTube and other video websites, why are so many bands so against people taking short video clips or pictures at the shows when they could probably help you more than they could hurt you?
It helps if you perform well.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
if you have a really crappy or mediocre show, and it's that moment gets captured on video, and then the whole world sees it, and you'd be like, well, dude, fuck these guys, they suck.
Yeah. Okay.
But don't get me
Gotta
wrong.
say one thing, as an artist has no control over what happens at all. When that happens, anyone will use it. True. End of story. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
But don't let me mislead you. I go on there all the time, and I'm always looking for different bands. I remember spending an afternoon on YouTube looking for Humble Pie footage.
Right. Oh yeah, we all do it.
But yeah, there is it just seems now with the internet and stuff like that. There definitely has been a line crossed somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard for me to put my finger on exactly what it was, but there definitely has been a line that's been crossed, and things like YouTube and MySpace, there are people that do take liberties with your work and your art, and they interpret it themselves. I've seen a bazillion videos on YouTube for the song Wolf Moon, and we never made a video for Wolf Moon.
Right.
And now they're interpreting it, and then somebody may be under the false impression that this is something that that we endorsed or sanctioned, or that we did it. And a lot of it's crap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it may not be the greatest song in the world, but still, there is a way that we presented it, and had there been a video done for it or something like that, that would have been our own interpretation and our own discretion.
Right.
So people taking liberties with your work and stuff like that, that's where the gray line is. But
Right, and it's tough to keep that line.
right, yeah, it's like you can't just like run around like hello YouTube, that's my band, that's my song, I want that taken off.
Yeah. There's no
Because then you
money
look like an
motivation.
asshole too. On
Ex-
top of that, like because then the fans turn that around on you.
Yeah, exactly. Then he called and he
Yeah, right. He
complained,
called. He had my MySpace page shut down. I was only trying to help promote their band.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. What's your opinion of the state of the sale of CDs, or lack thereof these days?
Yeah, it's no news that the music industry has contracted, drastically. The thing I just don't understand is like you still walk into like an FYE, and they're still charging almost $20 for a CD.
Right. Exactly.
That to me just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, the business has changed. It's time to rethink your business model.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they're not doing it. For years they've been saying, oh, we're going to lower the price on CDs. Even before downloading started, they
Right.
were like, oh, we're going to lower the price. We're going to lower the price. The price has never been lowered. Now it's hard to say, there is that argument, all right, whatever, in the last 15 years, a CD has always stayed close to $15, and the value of the dollar has changed quite a bit. Now we're paying almost $5 for a gallon of gas, $9 for a pack of cigarettes, and bread and wheat and rice,
Everything goes up.
and everything has gone up, and the price of CDs pretty much stayed the same.
Right.
However, in a dying industry, you got to change something up. If you want to survive, you have to do something different, and they're not doing anything different. They think that by adding a DVD to it still is a way of justifying a $20 disc.
Exactly.
And especially now, where a kid could just simply just turn on their computer and get it for free. Where's the incentive?
Very true.
They're not. They haven't figured out a way to compete with that. I mean, it is hard to compete with free, but.
Well, having said that, you just mentioned you did a re-release of the special edition of Dead Again.
Mm-hmm.
Can we expect any new material anytime soon?
Hopefully, that's our intention.
Right.
Once the tour is done here, before this tour came up, that's what we were gearing up to do. We were gonna start working on a new record. Try to get some new songs together. When it's gonna come out, Lord knows. Who knows? I'd like to say maybe in a year and a half from now, but.
Right.
Typo has a track record of a long time in between records.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
we always start out with good intentions, but it's something always goes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. I'm under the impression that Peter does a lot of the writing for the album. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess he's definitely the main cultivator of things. It's a lot of his vision and his
Now, does he give you a lot of creative license, you and the rest of the guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think that I feel any kind of restrictions or anything. Sometimes, when we're working with them, we'll be like, maybe maybe these lyrics could be a little bit better or whatever, and then what he does is he makes Kenny sing it. Like whenever there's a part that Kenny objects to, Peter makes him sing it. But no, I mean, with the last record, we spent a lot of time in the rehearsal studio together, and we really didn't, Peter didn't have anything, prepared beforehand where it was like, all right, here I have whatever I have, I have 2 songs written, but he didn't have anything. We set up the gear in the room. It was like, all right, what do you have? And he was like, nothing.
Let's start.
And so then we would just slowly work on whatever, take a riff, come up some kind of riff, jam on it for hours, and we did that for months.
Right.
And then finally things started to take a little bit of shape and form, and started getting their own identity as far as the song goes, and but it was a really long process. Sometimes it was a lot of fun, sometimes it was a total nightmare, but
Right.
it comes with the territory.
You ever get deadlines? And you got to reach a deadline. You have to get
Oh, we
that
missed
song
all of
done,
them.
and you missed
We
them.
missed all of them. SPV. I've always admired their perseverance. Because they're really patient,
Right.
and you know, the impression that I get from them is that they were happy with the results. So I guess in the end, you know, that's all that really
That's all that
matters.
matters in the
It
end.
kind of screwed up a lot of things for them, though. Like, you know, as far as their projections, you know, with like their way they do business, you know, they were expecting to have like, you know, this whatever a record out, you know,
Right.
for that quarter or whatever. It was like, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Remember that record that you know you were talking? Hey, how about shutting that off while I'm doing an interview? All right? You think? Yeah, thanks.
You're in the hot seat next.
I got no hair.
He doesn't.
Well, it's been at least over 4 years since you guys have made it to Canada. And I see this tour you're going to do Montreal. Is there any reason why you haven't been able to come to Canada or haven't come to Canada?
Peter's criminal record.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
You know, you know, it's really tough to get into that country when you have a criminal record. You know,
Right.
like you know, if you have like a DUI or something, it's like the equivalent of like murder charges up there.
Pretty much. Unfortunately.
So, right now there is still that chance that we're not going.
Oh, really?
Because you never know what kind of a judge or whoever is like, you know, going to review the whole thing and stuff. And, you know,
Say no. Forget
yeah, just feel like forget it. You know, we don't want your kind around
it.
here.
Make Kenny sing.
Yeah, we'll put him on stilts and we'll shave his eyebrows.
Okay, as we talked earlier, you're a big Kiss fan, as am I, and I heard about your Kiss Corner.
Kiss
Where-
Club,
Kiss Club. Where's
Kiss
that?
Club.
Where's that take place, and what happens there?
anywhere
Anywhere?
that we can, and it's really starting to get crazy now. We have like, you know, the life-size cardboard cutouts of Gene Simmons, and we got the black light posters. We even have like Kiss action figures on a stage with the lights and everything. You know?
awesome.
So we're starting to like accumulate memorabilia, and it really just started out like, you know, just one night hanging out in the dressing room. You know, I put Kiss on my iPod, and all of a sudden everybody started singing along to it. So now it becomes like, you know, this.
Come the club.
Oh yeah, that's it. And it's kind of reached new heights on this trip.
Right.
It's kind of scary.
Be fun. Growing up, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a drummer in a band.
You always wanted to be a drummer? in a
Always,
band?
yeah.
What age were you when you started playing drums?
I was about like 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your biggest influence?
Peter Criss. You know, the minute my father brought home Kiss Alive, I was like, that's it. Changed my life forever.
Very cool.
And then I got into like, you know, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and, you know, things like that, and just went downhill from there. You know.
Kiss Street.
Yeah. Should have listened to my mother when she said keep it as a hobby.
You still are.
Yeah.
Okay, Seventh Point.
Mhm.
You guys are working on an album with Vinnie Paul.
Yeah, the record's like 99% finished.
99%.
Yeah.
finished. So when does do you have a release date?
When I was with Vinnie Paul the other night, I was like, hey, you know, it's like, you know, we were hanging out. We had a day off in Dallas, and you know, we went to the clubhouse, and, you know,
Right.
tore it up, and you know, was hanging out, bullshitting with Vinnie all night. And then I didn't even ask him, like, you know, when do you have, you know, what's your plans to release this?
Right.
So the next night I saw him, I said, you know, with all the like, you know, the slobbering and all this other stuff, I said, I never asked you when the record's coming out. He's like, when's it coming out? And he just looked at me and went, soon. So I guess that's the official answer.
Right.
Soon.
Soon. Will there be a tour at all, or are you guys playing?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. You know, like you know, with it being on you know, Big Vin Records, you know, he's a one-man army, and like, you know, as far as like, you know, tour support and being able to afford to do something like that, and you know, being a new band, you know, it's not like, you know, a ton of money is going to get thrown our way and just say,
Right.
here, go promote your record. You know, so it's really hard to say. We haven't even like, you know, tried to approach that aspect yet. Right now we're just trying, you know, we're just getting the artwork together and stuff, you know, liner notes, and you know, Vinny says there's like, you know, about 1 day left in the studio to finish it, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. How do you compare playing with Seventh Void versus touring or playing with Typo? Or is there any comparison, any differences, any you prefer one over the other?
I have a drum riser when I play with Typo.
Okay.
A
Very
big,
cool.
big drum riser. No, I mean, you know, Typo is so much more. There's so much more going on all the time.
Right.
It's, you know, it's a whole different thing.
Cool. What's your okay? You guys sing a lot about Coney Island. I mean, not a lot, but there's some, it's mentioned in some songs. What's your opinion on the current state of Coney Island?
It's a ghetto. I think it's. I mean, it's hard for me to be like optimistic about it. It's still right next to the project. So if you put a nice place right in the middle of a ghetto, it's still a ghetto.
Right.
As long as they keep the historical aspects of it. I'm more curious than anything else to see what actually comes of this, and
Right.
will it become the place that it was 85 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
I think it is too ambitious of a project, the way that they turned around Times Square. I think they really have their work cut out
Right. Oh, yeah.
in Brooklyn.
A bit of work to do there.
Yeah.
Who is Johnny Kelly when he's at home? You're cutting the grass every weekend, doing the chores.
I'm just dad, waking up, taking kids to school, and doing chores. I do laundry, and I go food shopping.
Very cool.
And when it's hockey season, I watch Ranger games every other night. And really, that's about it. Just regular day stuff. Just my job is different than the other parents at the PTA meetings.
You got the cool job. If Typo could rule a country, what country would it be, and what would you change about it?
Typo does not have the capacity to rule like a small group of people. Forget about a country.
Okay. You wouldn't take over Slovenia or anything?
No. No. We would disagree on what to take over, too.
What's your favorite movie?
Vanishing Point.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And if someone were to play you in a movie, who would that be?
I'd go right for Johnny Depp, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Okay, one more actually. What is sitting on your bedside table right now?
A book about greyhounds.
Book about Greyhound.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a greyhound.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
cool.
there's greyhounds for dummies.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, well, I want to thank you very much for doing this for glammetal.com.
Thank you.
And do you have any last words for our viewers?
I think I've used up all my words for today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.